Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn about energy flow in an ecosystem. In the chapter, we have to learn about food chain, food web, the energy pyramid, biogeochemical cycle, that is of carbon, oxygen and nitrogen cycles. So, we have to study all these concepts in this chapter. Energy flow in an ecosystem. We have already learned that the classification of living organism according to the mode of nutrition into we can differentiate those living organisms, that is in producers, consumers and decomposers, also saprotrophs or saprophytes. Consider the various trophic levels of the ecosystem around you as we given here, that is primary consumers, those are known as herbivorous. These primary consumers are herbivorous. Example: grasshopper, squirrel, elephant, etc. They are directly dependent on autotrophs, means producer. Producers produce the food with the help of photosynthesis. So, primary consumers depend on these producers for food. That's why they are known as consumers. Those are primary consumers, and those primary consumers are herbivorous because they eating the vegetables and other products of this producer. Then secondary consumer or carnivores. For example, frog, owl, fox, etc. These consumers use herbivores as their food. The food of the secondary consumers is primary consumer, that is herbivorous animals or herbivorous organism. Then apex consumer, those are also carnivorous. For example, tiger, lion, etc. These consumers use herbivorous and carnivores as their food. No other animals feed on top consumers. So, food of these apex or top consumers is either primary consumers or secondary consumers, means herbivorous or carnivores. Then another type of consumer is that omnivores, that is mixed consumer. Human, bear, etc. feed on herbivorous, carnivorous and producers. So, all type of food they can use. For that purpose, they are known as mixed consumer or omnivores. So, these are the types of consumers: primary consumers, secondary consumer, tertiary consumers, and going on, that is apex consumer. And these are the omnivores. And with the help of this nutrition, mode of nutrition, we can divide the organism into producers, consumers and saprotrophs or saprophytes. These are the saprophytes, means plants which decays depend on the dead and decays body of the plants and animals. Decomposers also decomposes the body of dead and dead body of plants and animals. Producer produce their food and consumers depend on producer for their food. Then food chain. What is food chain? The interactions go on continuously between producer, consumer and saprophytes. There is a continuous interaction between producer, consumer and saprophytes. So there is a definite sequence in this interaction which is called as food chain. There is a definite sequence in the interaction between producer, consumer and decomposers or saprophytes. This is known as food chain. So here example of food chain. Grasshopper use food from this producer and become a food of frog. That's why this is a primary consumer, this is secondary consumer, and like this there is a tertiary, apex consumer, these are the decomposers. So there is a interaction between producer, consumer and decomposer, and there is a proper sequence between them. That's why the definite sequence in this interaction of producer, consumer and decomposer, that is known as food chain. Then what is food web? Ecosystem consists of many food chains that are interconnected at various levels. Thus, a food web is formed. A food web means there is a interconnectivity of different food chains. Interconnections of different food chains forms a web that is known as food web. An organism may be the prey for many other organisms. For example, an insect feeds upon leaves of various plants, but the same insect is the prey of different animals like frog, wall lizard, birds, etc. If this is to be shown in figure, it will form an intricate web instead of a linear food chain. Such an intricate network is called a food web. Generally, food webs are found everywhere in nature. So, if you see these various living organisms, will get many food chains in with the help of these plants and animals. We can design the many food chains because there are different linear food chains are here, but those chains we can interconnect because organism can't get food from plants or animals which is having only one. It gets their food from different ways, either by from this way or by another way. So by connectivity of such organisms in different food chains means there is a connectivity of food chains at different levels. There is a formation of web. That web is known as food web. Then energy pyramid, trophic level. These are the all producers in the ecosystem. Those are producers, means supposed to be plants. Then these are the herbivores which depends on these producer for food. Then carnivores, they use as a food of those herbivores, and this is omnivores. So if you see the numbers of these individuals, you can get the decreasing biomass of these organisms or animals. So each level in the food chain is called the trophic level. This is one trophic level, the second, third, fourth. Huh? A trophic level is the step at which the organism obtains its food in the chain. What is trophic level? A trophic level is the step. These are the different steps. The step at which the organism obtains its food in the chain. The amount of matter and energy gradually decreases from producer at lowest level to top consumer at the highest level. The amount of heat or amount of matter gradually decreases from bottom to top level, means from producer to highest consumer. The energy and amount of matter goes on decreasing from lowest level to top consumer level, highest level. And in this figure shows the energy transfer that takes place at each trophic level. There are different levels of energy exchange in food chain. The initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing at every level of the energy exchange. Similarly, the number of organisms also decreases from the lowest level to highest level. This pattern of energy exchange in an ecosystem is called a pyramid of energy. What is pyramid of energy? The initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing at every level of energy exchange. Similarly, the number of organisms are also decreases from the lowest level to highest level. This pattern of energy exchange in an ecosystem is called as the pyramid of energy. The pyramid of energy in an aquatic ecosystem is shown here. These are the phytoplankton, then zooplankton, fishes and humans. So number of these organisms decreases from bottom to top, and also the energy. There digits are, these digits shows us the energy goes on decreases from bottom to top. After the death of apex consumer, their energy becomes available to the decomposers. Fungi and other microorganisms decompose the bodies of dead animals. They are called decomposers. In the process of obtaining food from the remains of organism, decomposers convert them into simple carbon compounds. These substances easily mix with air, water and soil, from where they are again absorbed by plants and incorporated into food chain. So this process is going on from one organism to another organisms. The sun is the most important source of energy in any ecosystem. Green plants of the ecosystem store some of the solar energy in the form of food. Before reaching the decomposers, the energy is passed on from one trophic level to next. Decomposers dissipate some amount of energy in the form of heat. However, no part of energy ever returns to the sun. Hence, such passage of energy is referred to as one-way transport. Means the sun is the most important source of energy. From sun, the producers are absorbing the solar energy and they produce the food. Through that food, energy passes towards consumers, that is from primary consumers, secondary consumers, that is this is going on. After that, after the death of the plants and animals, their body is decayed by decomposers and energy is transferred towards decomposers. But after decomposition, that energy cannot be passes towards sun, means this is a half cycle. There is no passage of energy towards sun. That's why this passage of energy is referred as one way. Then we will see about biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle. The cyclic flow of nutrients within an ecosystem is called the biogeochemical cycle. Flow of nutrients, that flow is cyclic within ecosystem, means nutrients are useful for producers. They absorb the nutrients and build their body, but from that producer those nutrients are passed towards consumers, and that is from primary consumers to apex consumer. After decomposition of these consumers and producer, those nutrients are passed towards environment that is in ecosystem, means the different nutrients which are collected or which are used from the environment, those are after circulation of this from different consumers and producer, those are mixed in, once again those are mixed in environments, means there is a cyclic flow of these nutrients from environment towards organism and from organism towards environment. So this cyclic flow of nutrients within an ecosystem is called a biogeochemical cycle. Nutrients necessary for growth of organisms are continuously transferred from abiotic to biotic factors and biotic to abiotic factors within an ecosystem. This cycle operates continuously through the medium of biosphere formed by the lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. The recycling of biological, geological and chemical sources of nutrients in this process is a complex process and depends upon the level of energy transfer in the ecosystem. There are two types of biogeochemical cycle, the gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. An accumulation of main abiotic gaseous nutrients materials is found in the earth atmosphere. Also includes nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, etc. These are the some gaseous cycles. Sedimentary cycle, an accumulation of the main abiotic nutrient materials is found in soil, sediment and sedimentary rocks, etc. of the earth. Includes soil components like iron, calcium and phosphorus, etc. We will see about carbon cycle. The circulation and recycling of carbon from the atmosphere to living organisms and after their death back to the atmosphere is called carbon cycle. Circulation and recycling of carbon from atmosphere to living organism and after their death back to atmosphere. This is known as carbon cycle. Abiotic carbon atoms are circulated and recycled into biotic form mainly through photosynthesis and respiration. Hence, the carbon cycle is one of the important biogeochemical cycle. These are the two major processes in the carbon cycle, that is photosynthesis and respiration. In photosynthesis, plants which are having chlorophyll in presence of sunlight, they absorb the carbon dioxide and also receive the water, and with the help of these two factors they produce their food in the form of glucose, that is C6H12O6, and in this process there is a carbon dioxide that is oxygen is released in this process. So this is the uses of carbon dioxide in this carbon cycle. Here the production of carbon dioxide in next step or next process, that process is known as respiration. For respiration, plants uses oxygen and they oxidize the food which is in the form of glucose C6H12O6. In this process occurs in mitochondria, and in this process there is a production of carbon dioxide and energy, and this carbon dioxide release in atmosphere. So for production of carbon dioxide, this is the main process, that is respiration. We will see the carbon cycle in this diagram. These are the biotic factors using carbon dioxide for decomposition. In decomposition, there is a formation of carbon dioxide, fossil fuel, and respiration. There is a formation of carbon dioxide and carbon dioxide from factories and other, that is respiration, the carbon dioxide released in atmosphere, and for photosynthesis that carbon dioxide is used. Plants convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. Similarly, the produce carbon dioxide carbon compounds like proteins and fats. Herbivores feed upon plants. Carnivores feed upon herbivores. In this way, biotic carbon is transported from plants to herbivores, from herbivores to carnivores, and from carnivores to apex consumer. Eventually, after death, all types of consumers are decomposed by decomposers like bacteria and fungi, and carbon dioxide is released again into the atmosphere and is used again by the living organism. In this way, carbon is continuously passed on from one living organism to another. After the death of living organisms, carbon goes to the atmosphere and is again taken up by living organism. So this is the cycle of carbon. Carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere through abiotic process like burning of fossil fuel and wood, forest fire and volcanic activity. Oxygen is released into the atmosphere by the biotic process of photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide through respiration. The equilibrium of oxygen and carbon dioxide gases in the atmosphere is maintained by plant. The carbon cycle is very effective in the temperate region. Even though the carbon content on earth is constant, why there is a rise in temperature due to carbon dioxide? Do you know? Because of those are greenhouse effect gases. They trap the energy in the atmosphere. Then we'll see about oxygen cycle. This is a diagrammatic presentation of oxygen cycle. Oxygen is used for respiration, and in this process carbon dioxide is released. Plants absorb carbon dioxide and produce food material in photosynthesis, and there is a formation of oxygen in photosynthesis. That oxygen is released in atmosphere and is used for respiration, and in respiration there is a formation of carbon dioxide. So this is the cycle of oxygen. Oxygen form 21% of atmosphere. It is also present in the hydrosphere and lithosphere. Circulation and recycling of oxygen within the biosphere is called oxygen cycle. This cycle too includes both the biotic and abiotic component. Oxygen is continuously produced as well as used up in the atmosphere. Oxygen is highly reactive and it is ready to react with other elements and compounds. As oxygen is found in various forms like molecular oxygen O2, water H2O, carbon dioxide CO2, inorganic compound, etc. The oxygen cycle of the biosphere is extremely complex. Oxygen is released in the process of photosynthesis, whereas it is used up in the process like respiration, combustion, decomposition, corrosion, rusting, etc. Most microorganisms use oxygen for respiration. Such microbes are called as aerobes. Microbes which do not need oxygen are called anaerobe. Oxygen is important for synthesis of proteins, carbohydrates and fats. It is also used in various chemical reactions. Ozone is produced from oxygen through various atmospheric processes. We will see about next cycle, that is nitrogen cycle. This is a diagrammatic presentation of nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen here, which is in atmosphere, which is here used by different organisms. Nitrogen forms 78%, that is the maximum portion of the atmosphere. It is necessary for maintenance of the cycle of nature. The circulation and recycling of nitrogen into the form of different compounds through various biotic and abiotic processes in the nature is called the nitrogen cycle. All organisms participate in the nitrogen cycle. It is an important component of proteins and nucleic acids. As compared to other elements, it is inactive and does not easily combine with other elements. Most organisms cannot use the free form of nitrogen. Some important processes of the nitrogen cycle, that is nitrogen fixation, ammonification, nitrification, denitrification. We will see about nitrogen fixation. Conversion of nitrogen into nitrates and nitrites through atmosphere, industrial and biological process. This is known as nitrogen fixation. Conversion of nitrogen into nitrate and nitrites with the help of atmospheric, industrial or biological process. Then ammonification, a release of ammonia through decomposition of dead body and excretory waste of the organisms. That is known as ammonification. Then nitrification, conversion of ammonia into nitrite and then nitrate. This is known as nitrification. What is denitrification? Conversion of nitrogen compounds into gaseous nitrogen. There is a denitrification. So these are the some important process occurs during nitrogen cycle. The students, we already learned different concepts of this ecosystem and energy flow in ecosystem. I hope you understood this all things, but if you have any doubts, you have to call me on this number. Before that, we have to read the lesson which is in textbook and we have to solve the exercise. Thank you.